There are two main blocks that people have from being their happiest, most peaceful, loving selves possible. And it really comes down into two different types of people. There's one type of person who thinks they're happy, but they're not really happy. And this is the kind of person we all know. They have to always be doing something. They have to keep go, go, go. Like if their life stops for a moment, that's when the crisis and the panic starts. And they think that this is not a sign of unhappiness. This is a sign of energy and, loving life. And, if that is done mindfully and if it is done in a way with self-reflection, that may be the case. But usually what happens is it's a coping mechanism. And when something traumatic happens in our lives, when something catastrophic happens, we can avoid dealing with it if we dive deeper into work, if we get deeper into technology or whatever kind of entertainment or passions we love. And while it may seem like this is just living a full life, we cannot reach our happiest, greatest potential if we are running away from something. If underneath the surface is decades of unhealed trauma and unprocessed trauma. And we see this so often with people who are unable to retire, or they're unable to enjoy time with their family because they have to always be doing something different. And what's next is always more important than right here and now. And it becomes an endless chase to avoid the present moment. And it works for a lot of people, but there is a greater potential when we can actually deal with that trauma, and we can actually sit in peace, and we can love stillness. And when we can love stillness, this is from where we bring the energy to the rest of our lives, and we bring a calm, centered spaciousness for our loved ones and for everyone we care about to share in that space instead of always running away. The second type of person, who is usually their own worst enemy for their greatest well-being, is the kind of person who believes that they shouldn't be happy. And this is very common when we see people hold on to grudges. We see people believe that holding on to hatred, that self-righteous anger, that pride, and that feeling of superiority, they mistake for true happiness. And that is a much lower level of happiness than that happiness we feel from loving everybody, from peace with ourselves and everyone around us. And that addiction to chaos is preventing us from breaking through. And so we think we're finding joy in gossip or cruelty or judgment, but really we are getting short-lived pleasure as a temporary relief from that insecurity and that anger, which really does stem from a fear of not being good enough. And that is why we have to always be knocking people down and trying to put ourselves up. And when we can let go of that endless game of competition and comparison, we can reach our true levels of happiness, peace, bliss, and love that are so profound that there is no addiction, there is no negative behavior, no cruelty, no pleasure of any kind that can compare to true contentment, peace, bliss, and happiness that comes from within. And when we can really unwind all of those blocks, when we can realize that the anger isn't making us happy, when we can recognize that constant entertainment and excitement doesn't make us truly happy, then we can start to explore that path to that lasting bliss, that permanent state of consciousness that is present and grateful always, which is the whole point of life. Most people think that a good life leads to a good mindset. And this could not be further from the truth. It's the complete opposite. A happy mindset creates a good life. And when we are grateful, we naturally see every blessing that is around us and that is in our life. When we are stressed, worried, anxious, fearful, we can see no blessings in our life. We can see no positive aspects of our life, and all of our safety and security and health and all the blessings that we have are irrelevant and become non-existent to us. And we only can see what we don't have, what we're afraid of losing, what we crave and desire. Just that simple shift from stress and worry to gratitude and optimism makes our life, no matter how successful we are, no matter how good those things look in our lives that we measure our life compared to someone else's, without gratitude, we have nothing. We have no strengths, we have no assets, we have nothing that makes us feel comfortable and safe. And when we have gratitude, we have no downsides. We have no fears. We have no negative aspects that we need to constantly be worried about. And so nothing else in our life changes but our mindset. And that changes everything.